Yo, what it do, gaming goons? This your boy Ju King the Boss, and you know I ain't done this intro in a minute, so you know what that means. It's time to talk NBA 2K. So NBA 2K21 Next Gen's version had its issues, but to me it was at least different from the Xbox One and PS4 version, which felt like NBA 2K20 with a different story. Now, I enjoyed NBA 2K21's next gen improvements and things like the visuals, some of the features and mechanics, and some of the gameplay enhancements. But that doesn't mean I think that this game was perfect. Okay, for almost every feature or mechanic I enjoyed and I thought enhanced the game, there was something that diminished it. There was something that took away from it. Something really counterbalanced it. So today I want to talk to you goons about improvements I would like to see in future NBA 2K titles. Now I say that because I'm expecting minor improvements and maybe one or two new or returning / polished features in NBA 2K22 that we haven't seen in a while. Now we're gonna break this down by modes that I've played. That's MyCAREER, Park, and Rec. Now, I'm gonna leave timestamps down below so that way if you don't want to hear me talk about MyCAREER, you'll know where you can go to hear me talk about Park or to hear me talk about Rec. Now, some of the changes that I'm gonna mention about Rec will also be improvements that I feel could help ProAM. But I didn't play much ProAM there, so you gotta let me know if you play ProAM, what do you think can really help ProAM step back up into that limelight besides just fixing it. I just heard a lot of people say it was broken. So let's now that we're done with the intro, let's get down to the business. All right, so the first thing I want to focus on is MyCAREER, man. You know that I love playing some MyCAREER, but when it comes down to it, I think there are improvements that can be made. So let's look at it. The story itself was good. I didn't think it was too much there outside of the love arc that they treated worse than the WWE treats its storylines. It was all about just being the best. Now, the only problem that you had was Hendrix Cobb, and you could outplay this cat your entire life. Every time y'all matched up, whether you went to college, whether, you know what I'm saying, you was talking about when you matched up when y'all was in high school, every time y'all matched up, you could destroy him, beat him, and just outplay him. And they would still consider you second to him, all right? Now, to me, it's the same lather, rinse, and repeat each year with a different rival. Now, what can be done to improve the MyCAREER experience? Well, it all starts with dynamic rivals. You don't need to create a fictional rival, man. The NBA is full of possibilities. You create a point guard and everything like that, you find yourself being compared to that of Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, you know what I'm saying? You got, the list continues to go on and on. The Trae Youngs, the Kyrie Irvings, and each and every one of these guys could be a person that you know, the way you perform, the way you play them, the way you know what I'm saying, do a little more than them, could build up their rival. Now in MLB The Show, they do have something like that, which is actually pretty cool. So if I'm playing in the outfield and a person knocks that bad boy my way and I catch that bad boy out, me and the pitcher, we increase our bond, our relationship, and the guy who I just caught that pop fly out on, you know what I'm saying, it starts to build a little rivalry with that. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that in 2K. That would make the game of basketball feel more realistic, because even though these guys are a part of a brotherhood, when they step on that court, man, it's about, I'm trying to bust your ass, and that's what I want to see. The next thing is dynamic difficulty. Another thing that I would love to see come from a game like The Show. Hall of Fame to me this year felt like I was playing on pro. Like after 10 games, I do what I want. Like I'm still turning the ball over, but at the end of the day, nobody's stopping me from getting a bucket outside of Giannis every now and then. He can slow me down, but he couldn't stop me from getting a bucket. I'm still drop 50 on his head. I just couldn't stop him from dropping 40. That was the weird thing. Okay, so I think that a dynamic difficulty system would improve the quality of play. It would improve the skill in which you earn in this game. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think that that's going to be transferable to the online, but at the end of the day, if you got a more dynamic difficulty with a more enhanced AI system that knows how to rotate down and knows how to pick up on the screen a whole lot better, you can create a more natural basketball environment for people to play and feel like they're a part of. So dynamic difficulty, I would love to see that. I keep asking for that every year and I still haven't gotten it. I'm upset because I want something that's going to challenge me a whole lot more. Y'all see my screen and roll game, just unstoppable. Don't matter who I run it with, it's unstoppable. So I would love to see a dynamic difficulty that allows them to say, okay, well, we're seeing that. We got to pick up on that. Now, speaking of dynamics, a realistic dynamic team front office. Good God Almighty, I'm trying to tell you, your team feels like it's the only one that offloads like a role player while they're hot to get a great asset. No other team feels like they're doing that. And it's always weird. And then at the same time, your team's front office will re-sign a extremely high costing player that isn't effective to your championship winning. Okay, like Russell Westbrook, I love him as a player, right? But in this game, when I came to the team, I'm playing my Wizards and I'm out there doing everything that he was doing, right? So I'm getting buckets, I'm getting assists, I'm getting trip dubs, I'm getting everybody involved. And, at the end of his contract, they signed him for another $44 million for another year. Now, hey, Russ, get your money, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you look at it and say, we know the Wizards well enough to know that they'll look at if a player like me come in and, I got a cheap contract for a couple years, then they'll offload Russ quick. They'll offload him quick. They haven't offloaded him and everything. They're like, man, this guy's doing everything Russ is doing. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing it when Russ is not on the floor. Russ's numbers are going down because he's here. So when it comes down to it, let's get the bag for him. Let's get the bag for him. So I would love to see a more realistic team front office from each team, because then you can really see some more dynamics. Now, speaking of dynamics, another dynamic thing I would love to see is a dynamic roster updating system. Now, this is something that if you play MyCAREER, I know you would really love. I would love to use rookie classes that the community create, or even add in a retro roster. It's MyCAREER. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't affect the online modes. It should be something that I can have fun. I know some people are sit up here and say, well, if you want that, all you got to do is play, my league and everything like that. But why would I want that? I mean, the goal is I want to build my player, get him to a level where I can still play with him online and everything. But when I'm playing by myself, I still want to be able to get those attributes and get those upgrades that I want. And at the same time, play against maybe, dream matchups that I would have loved to have. It's a game. It's not going to be as realistic as it could be, but at least giving you that feel of going up against the Jordan-led Bulls, you know what I'm saying? Going up against the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, having those additional players in there could, allow you to recreate their historical moments against them. That would be cool. Now, the last thing for career, we spent already 6 minutes on this bad boy, but that's my mode. And we're probably going to spend 6 minutes everywhere else too. So the last thing is career paths. Now, what is career paths? And what I mean by that is simple. Let's look at early Russell Westbrook versus the media. Every time Russell Westbrook had a conference after the game, the media always tried to dig at him just to get a soundbite out of him. Versus who he is now, whereas now he's that guy that he doesn't let the media affect him as much. Sometimes they say sideways things, but he just knows that they're pushing his buttons. Or the fact that KD and LeBron became villains at different times, you know what I'm saying? When they left their team to go join super teams and everything like that, having those kind of career paths. Or the fact that Lou Williams is without a shadow of doubt one of the greatest 6 men in the world, okay? And having that kind of career path, what these career paths could do for you and create more opportunities for you, I would love to see. But then, let me know down in the comments, man. Are there other career paths that you thought about that you would love to be able to kind of like follow and build up and have some fun with in MyCAREER? But we're not done. We got more to talk about. So let's move on to the park. All right. So now when I look at park, man, park used to be one of my favorite online game modes. OK, when it came down to it, we talking about quick games with randoms or friends. And some of them games were good. Some of them games were bad. And over the years, park has made significant changes. Some of them good, some of them bad. But there were always technical issues that always existed in park. So we're going to talk about a few issues that I feel, because Next Gen's version of the park is beautiful. The city is amazingly beautiful. The lighting really adds a whole nother layer to the details on some of these characters, but looks can be deceiving. Now, I don't think much needs to change to improve it outside of a few technical issues that we'll talk about, but here's some features I would love to see coming to the park. First of all, we got straight out the gates matchmaking. when it comes down to it. We've seen this in last gen 2K special events such as the Ruffles event and the boot camp. When it comes down to it, you step in and you get teamed up with some people and you go play a game to 21. That's what was the best part about it. And you also see this in the rec. You know, if you ain't got a full squad, you can jump in there by yourself and they'll match you up with, you know what I'm saying, 2 or anywhere from 2 to 4 new people, and you can get a game going. Some of those games are good, some of those games are bad. Sometimes matchmaking isn't always going to work out, because I've had myself in situations where matchmaking, I was matched up with people who didn't want to pass me the ball, didn't want to utilize me, and I'm in game chat. It doesn't work all the time, but having matchmaking allows for park games, not all park games, but because I'm not asking you to remove the city. Matchmaking is just a good way for some park games, for some individuals to find games quicker. Sometimes you don't have, 2 hours to play the game. Sometimes you got maybe an hour, maybe 45 minutes. You can get yourself one rec game in and probably be disappointed about that rec game, depending on who you're matched up with. Or you can get yourself a couple of park games in with matchmaking. Now, if you had matchmaking, it's just that great way to get some quick games in, 7 to 10 minutes per game. It allows you to keep on going. Pick it up, play some games, put the controller down, going about your day. And I would love to see that. Another thing that would benefit having matchmaking is, because I know some people want to see casual versus competitive, and they want to see that community gets divided. But last time I checked, 2K is not good at dividing the community, except on their decision making. Okay, now before we talk about casual and competitive, let's talk about lobbies. All right. Now, look, I want you to look at it like Battlefield. If you ever played Battlefield, when you go to the multiplayer game menu, you then get to choose the game mode that you want to play, and then see the lobbies that are available, the number of people in those lobbies, and I would love to see lobbies come to 2K in that kind of fashion a little bit, not completely. The city itself could be its main hub. It's got all the shops and all other stuff where you can go buy stuff, this, that, and the other. And I've said this before in last year's or year before last improvements video I would love to see is that if you use the city as a main hub and all of your shops are right there, then what you can do is each park could be its own server or lobby. All right. And so when you go to, I keep always saying that they could use the subways as a way to not only go to another server, but choose which server you want to go to. All right. You don't just get on a train and let it take you to where it wants. OK, that's kidnapping right there. All right. So I would love to see if you're playing in the city and you're at the city and you say, OK, well, I want to go to Sunset. I want to go to Rivet. I want to go to Old Town, or even some of the newer parks. So I want to go to South City. I want to go to the Beast of the East. I want to go to what's that, North Side Knights, or the other jabrones. Y'all are jabrones. You ain't a South Side. You ain't a South City Viper. You ain't a South Side Viper. You a jabron. But any which way, when it comes down to it, having these destinations as lobbies themselves, and then allowing me to see things like the connection strength that my connection has to this lobby and the ping that I have to this lobby would make it so much easier that if I want to go into a park, I'm going to not get as much lag, because then you'll find people kind of going to parks that are more their speed. Don't get me wrong, there are some people who will go to parks just because they're full. They're not worrying about the ping and everything like that, but they're the ones who chose to do that, and so they put themselves in that situation where their response time is going to be worse and all that kind of good stuff. So hopefully we can move towards that, a server lobby system that allows people to play quality park games. That's a quality of life improvement. The next and last thing for park is the rep system. Now, I think the incentive of playing with people in your affiliation should be the boost, but let me give you an example. Every game should have the same base rep system, right? Base rep. Okay, now if you share an affiliation with your teammates, then you get bonus rep. So we call that affiliation rep, right? For playing games. If you're playing against another full affiliation, let's give that more bonus rep. And then if your team win, bonus rep, right? Now, how would this rep system work? Now, first of all, I don't think that it should be, well, yeah, you got to be playing in your own park. No, that takes away from the incentive of going to play other affiliations. If you're playing in your park, and let's say, for instance, I'm South City, right? And I'm playing with some of my boys from South City, and Beast of the East roll up on us, and they want to play a game. Now, we get a nice boost if we win because we're playing against a team that has we're playing against a team on our court. So we get a nice little boost that we can get the win for defending our court. Or if we're playing against a team on another court and we get the win, we get a little bit of boost of coming here and owning somebody else's court. Little small things like that. A rep system that really has overall rep and then affiliation rep. Now, the overall rep system should be the rep system from, rookie to pro to all-star to superstar to legend and all that, right? But your affiliation rep system should be something that allows for you to gain more bonuses alongside the overall rep. So if you stay with your affiliation, you'll get more bonuses for games that you play as a part of an affiliation group, as opposed to if you decide that you want to go to a different affiliation, you lose your overall rep and resets. Like I don't want to see things like that happen. Maybe your affiliation rep resets because you're going to a new affiliation, but your overall rep is about you as a hooper. And no matter where you go, you're going to hoop. So that overall rep should be the bones that you earn from, hooping. And then your A rep should be your affiliation rep. These things would earn you things like affiliation gear. It would also earn you bonus rep when you're playing games with your affiliation and against your affiliation. Two different leveling systems that have two different reward tiers, two different reward structures. But by combining these two, you add up rewards a whole lot better. You creating a reward system that's a whole lot more dominant, because now you're getting rewarded for playing with people in your affiliation. You're getting rewarded for playing against people in other affiliations. Doesn't matter where you're playing them. It doesn't matter if you're playing them on the Beast of the East court. It doesn't matter whether you're playing them on the South Side court. What does matter is that if you're playing against that team on their court or your court. So like if you're a Beast from the East and you're playing against South City Vipers and you're going against each other on Northside Knights court, that don't get you the bonus rep for winning against another affiliation. It does get you the rep for playing against another affiliation, but not for winning against another affiliation. Now, I hope that you all understood that, because the rep system is one of the biggest overhauls that I think needs to happen. I'm not talking about the rep rewards for the overall rep. I don't care nothing about any of those. I don't buy half that crap that they throw out there, so I don't care. But having a rep system that does reward. I mean, don't get me wrong. I for the greater good of the community, I want to see better rewards given out to people for hitting those levels. But I just think that these rep systems need to be more an indication of where you're repping up. You see what I'm saying? Where you're getting your skills, where you're getting your bones, and having affiliation rep makes affiliations mean something. So since we're done with the park, there's one last thing to focus on. And I just spent 9 minutes talking about that. But we got to talk about the rec. All right, so when we break down the rec, I spent more time here than I did in the city. So much so that as soon as I could change my spawn location to the rec, and first of all, thank you 2K for allowing us to do that at an earlier rep instead of in-game rep for real, I did so. Now, whether I'm playing with the randoms or my OGs, I'm gonna have fun in the rec. But I won't act like it's not the same copy and paste job from last year with all the visual improvements that 2K spent focusing on, and focus on the city itself. Man, I knew the rec and the ProAM would be the same copy and paste job. But now that we got the baseline out the way, here's a few improvements I think would help the rec and in some cases help the ProAM. Now, first of all, ProAM, I didn't play ProAM at all, mainly because I was hearing so many problems about getting games and connection issues. And I was just like, yeah, I'm good with all of that. I'm not about to create a team in order for us to get disconnected. So I stuck with the rec, and hopefully a couple of things that I mentioned will help out in the ProAM scene as well. First of all, rec bots. Let's get this crap right out the way. Let's get it out the way. For me, I don't care that the bot is an 85 overall, but I wish that they would be in the right position. Now, if I get matched up with two randoms when I go into the rec, a point guard and a shooting guard, right? Don't make my small forward a center and give me two CPU guards, okay? Give us a power forward and a center. Or you can give us a center and a small forward and move me over to the power forward. Like, these things need to be thought of more intelligently. I don't like, nobody really wants to play with bots on their team. Most people don't want to play against bots when they're playing multiplayer. But when it comes down to it, you take advantage of playing against the bot. Make it so that way a person can't really take that much of an advantage. AI needs to be smarter in all game modes. That's just true. But when it comes down to it, position wise, these positions are out of order. They're all weird. I played with a 6'4" point guard at 175 pounds playing at center. And I was the tallest dude on the team. It was the weirdest thing ever. I don't like saying things like that because it literally just means that there was no thought given when it comes down to it. Now, the gym itself. Okay, that's another thing. And the rec stuff doesn't really take too much to actually improve the rec. The rec is a good game mode, but the gym itself, rec games should be in a single full court gym like the ProAM games, right? There's no need for 4 games going on at the same time like it's some kind of tournament, okay? It's a waste of resources and a waste of space, okay? I didn't like that version of rec when they introduced it in 2K16, 2K17 without the matchmaking. I don't like it with the matchmaking. I mean, like being able to get these games going, cool. But remember that when it comes down to it, you're adding those extra resources that are being used. I don't care whether they're games that are actually going on and kind of being played in the background of yours, or they're just CPU games. Either which way, it's a waste of resources for the 10 people, for the up to 10 people that are trying to connect to each other on this one structured base. All right, so let's just remove the extra 3 courts, 1 court in a rec. It should feel more like just playing a simple pickup game when you go into the gym. It's 9 other cats there. You show up, hey bro, we about to run a 10, man. You in? Let's go. Let's hoop. That's what the rec should feel more like. And I know some people will disagree with me because some of y'all are hoopers a hell of a lot harder than I am. All right, and I don't want to disrespect that. But when it comes down to it, like for this game, the rec shouldn't be something where you got this punk ass crowd that's doing nothing. And speaking of that punk ass crowd, just remove that dead ass crowd. They look sad, they look unimpressed, and they look like they're forced to be there. The rec should feel like you went to the gym to play a pickup game with your buddies against another set. Y'all talk a little trash in the streets. Man, I got these buckets, I can get all on you. All right, cool. See me. You meet up. Rec game. Now I know that's what the ProAM is supposed to be about for real, but y'all are, kind of screwing the pooch with that one. Now there is certain things that I think could add to the ProAM. I only really got one thing that I would love to see added to ProAM, but y'all can let me know if you really do value ProAM as a game mode. Let me know down in the comments below what kind of addition you want to see to ProAM to make ProAM viable again. All right, but there's one thing that I would love to see, and that would actually get me back into wanting to play ProAM. I believe any content creator can agree with this. I believe any content creator would step up to the plate and love this and utilize the hell out of it. It's not something that's just for everybody, but it is something that is for anybody. And that is a simple system setup that if I got a team that I can put, 8-9 bodies on, right? I would like to have games where if my boys are going to play, I got the team, my boys are going to play, and, we got a 5 there. And I'm like, and somebody else on the team wants to play. It's like, okay, well, I don't mind doing this. I'll take a step back and let them play, because when it comes down to it, skill wise, I know that my friends are better than me, right? I have better days sometimes, but overall consistency, that's where they're at. So I'm going to take that step back and let them jump in and hoop together in ProAM. But I would love the ability to kind of like step into the game and oversee everything, like be able to kind of like capture footage from different angles. Now I know they have the resources to do that, and I know that doing this would take away from what they're doing with the 2K League, but would it really? I mean, if anything, it would add more eyes to wanting to watch people play competitive 2K basketball, right? And I know some people are probably disagreeing, like they're not. That 2K ain't gonna throw that out there and lose their little bread and butter. But it's actually, I think it's gonna add to it, because at the end of the day, I like to do recording, and sometimes I like to sit back and watch. And if I'm in a party with my boys and I'm watching them play, I can call them out on certain things that they did wrong, certain things they did right. Like you got a set of eyes who can see the whole court like a coach. Okay. And does that add to it? Yes, of course it does, because not everybody's going to do it. Hell, Battlefield had a mode like that, and I know I mentioned Battlefield quite a few times. Can't wait for the new one to drop. But Battlefield had a mode like that. I believe it was in Battlefield 4, where essentially I was able to use my phone and connect to the game and kind of like do like play God Watch. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Overseer and things like. I would love to see something like that in 2K, where I can see the game, I can change who I'm following, kind of like when you're spectating any other game that ever came out. Okay, I can spectate in any shooter, I can spectate in so many games that are out there. I would love to add a spectating mode in ProAM. That would to me, that would boost up the ProAM's viability, boost up its longevity, and boost up who plays it. People have actually started to look for teams to play and say, okay, let's put some effort in here. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about two features that I did enjoy, but I didn't mention too much. Now, one is, of course, shot aiming. Shot aiming is a feature that I love. If you watch my MyCAREER series, you know that I utilize shot aiming all the time, and it was usually effective. I enjoyed it. I know it ruined the game for some people because of Zen controllers or Zen modifications or whatever the hell that was. But at the end of the day, I thought I had fun playing with that in MyCAREER, and I wouldn't mind seeing it return, even if it's only in MyCAREER. Mainly because I would rather the game be played fairly amongst, you know what I'm saying, the community when they're playing against each other. Second thing was the MyPlayer builder. Now, and I know a lot of people didn't like it because everybody's creating the same build. Every year, everybody's creating the same build. I love the MyPlayer builder this year because it allowed me to say, okay, what do I want to actually, you know what I'm saying, have at what level? And what do I not care about? So my man had no standing dunk, and that was cool because I don't play in the post. My man had no post skill. That's cool because I don't play in the post. I play out of the perimeter, drive to the basket, get me a bucket. Or I play out to perimeter, fake the drive, kick it to a man. That's the way I played. And I like the fact that I was able to build my player to do that without having to give him points in a category that I don't care about at all. But the downside to the MyPlayer builder was the fact that some of these abilities didn't matter at all. It didn't matter what you had there. Like, you have a 25 steal, you still getting the same amount of steals as a cat with 99 steal. And I thought that was stupid. Okay, so the problem with the builder had nothing to do with the builder, it had everything to do with the way the game reacted to certain stat lines, with certain skill sets, certain skill levels, and that needs to be adjusted. So that needs to be the adjustment in gameplay. Now, what I would also like to see when it comes down to it, I wouldn't mind seeing a natural evolution system. Okay, now if you're playing MyCAREER, you're playing Park, it doesn't matter. When you start up, you're creating a player process. You should have the ability to choose whether you want to go with the MyPlayer builder or you want the natural evolution. MyPlayer builder will allow you to build exactly what stats you want to be where and at what level. And then the natural evolution system is going to say, okay, well, we'll see where you're at over time. And, you know, as you develop your game, treat it like Skyrim treated their evolution system. Skyrim had it where you could play you can increase your bow skill, you can increase your sword and shield skill, and all that is coinciding with your level up skill. So your player levels up, and then everything that you can do levels up. Blacksmithing, you know what I'm saying, leather working, sword and shield, dual wield, archery, alchemy, all these things leveled up in based on how you played. And I wouldn't mind seeing a system like that come to 2K. If we can get a system like that where if I'm playing MyCAREER, because like that's mainly where I play at. I jump in the rec every now and then, jump at the park every now and then. But if I'm playing MyCAREER and I want that natural evolution, then the more that I'm doing shooting mid-range shots, the more my mid-range ability is going to go up because I'm hitting mid-range shots. And the same thing goes with, you know what I'm saying, getting dunks or attacking the rim, you know what I'm saying, things like that allow you to build up strength, build up dunking ability and all that kind of stuff. So that way you don't find yourself having to choose what you think you're going to need versus the game basically saying like, yeah, this ain't gonna matter to you based on the way you play. This will matter to you based on the way you play. I wouldn't mind seeing a system like that put into place. Some of you might agree, some of you might disagree. That's what the comments are there for. And thank you for each and every one of you, my new subscribers, my OG subscribers, man. It's been a nice little ride. It's a marathon, not a sprint, slow grind, you know what I'm saying, as we take it all the way up to the top. Let me know down in the comments below what features do you agree with, what features you don't. If you got features that I didn't mention, you know, let me know. Things that you think need to be adjusted, let me know. I would love to hear from the community. Let me know what they feel about 2K and the improvements that they need to make, the things they need to add, the things they need to remove. We got more content coming out. We're working on so many different games now. New content, old content, weird content, fun content. I'm running with my boys. I'm running with the goons. We're just playing games, and hopefully you love them. So stay tuned for more, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. I'm blabbering, man. I'm a little tired. I'm going to go get me a nap when this video go up, man. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. Peace.